great by the San Francisco Bay. He's a Nondual Psychologist. He has a private practice focusing on presence and self-inquiry and mindfulness and other things like that from a non-dual perspective. He's also got a non-dual book that he's written, and he also has some stuff published with us with Paradoxica. He's got a wicked sense of humor, and he's also quite the non-dual marketer for us as well. We need one marketer amongst us, so we'll get Will for that. So we'll turn it over to Will.
Thank you, Gary. I don't know how I follow Gary, but I'm going to do my best. What's in your backpack? This is the poignant question asked for what you're carrying in life. What's, as Gary would say, your gig, and what's in the bag you're carrying. So imagine filling up your backpack with all the things of life. Your house, your car, mobile devices, video gaming units, you name it. And just see that all packing in. Throw in your clothes, your favorite stuff, you know, all of that. Computer, entertainment consoles, TV, CD, DVD players, just the works. And if that's not enough, go ahead and load in all your relationships with your mate, your boyfriend, girlfriend, parents, grandparents, uncles, nephews, nieces, cousins, friends, everyone. Just pack it in. Boss, co-workers, you name it. Your favorite sports stars and celebrities that you follow, that sort of stuff. Getting heavy yet? And you get to drag that around with you. Isn't that great? For the duration. In the 2009 movie Up in the Air, how many people saw that? A few people? Oh, great. Good. George Clooney plays this character, Ryan Bingham, who's sort of a downsizer, road warrior, exit terminator, interviewer type guy. And he's conducting these employee exit terminating interviews for cowardly employers who are gutless enough to not do it themselves. And so he flies around. He essentially spends like 200 plus days a year flying around doing this stuff. And he's very cool and, you know, very debonair, as George Clooney is anyways. He also does these motivational talks to corporate audiences. And he brings a backpack, probably a fancier one, this one, and he plops it down and he says, "What's in your backpack?" to get their attention. And he's the guru, see? He's the corporate biz guru. And what he tells, this character at least, he asks us as to notice how it's filled with all these necessities, like relationships and family and work and stuff like that. And he says that's not the point. You really want to keep an empty backpack, like this. So there's nothing in it. So it's actually very light. It's very easy to carry around, right? And that's the thing to do. Like he does, of course. Be like him. So this is sort of a loose metaphor for the meaning of life, right? What it is. So he advocates carrying this empty backpack, empty of everything. And what he proposes a relationship-free life. And that's the way to go. What exactly constitutes an empty backpack anyways? I use this as kind of an inspiration and jumping off spot to look at this whole notion of surrender and emptiness and what does it really look like in several domains of life. And then, by the way, for those who have seen the film, what level or plane or reality is Ryan Bingham operating in for almost the entire film? Any idea? He seems to be operating the empirical. He's taking care of business. He's being what he considers to be a success.
He's aware it's an illusion, yeah.
I'm sorry?
He's aware it's an illusion.
Toward the end of the movie, he gets a little more aware when it all crashes down in failurehood. That's true. But for most of it, he actually is buying it. You know, this is it. So he's kind of locked into that illusion while operating in the empirical world. And then he has this moment of abject failurehood where it all sort of falls apart. He thinks he knows what he does not know. He thinks he's aware and he's unaware. He thinks he's conscious, yet he's unconscious. Absolutely true. And he's doing a fine job putting on this incredible front, covering that all up, and being this successful road warrior, businessman, consultant. And he buys it until it no longer can stand up and it all falls apart. And he's not seeking anything other than success. There's nothing particularly spiritual on his quest that I was able to see in the film. But his holy grail, his God, you might say, is material success. And when that doesn't pan out either, and it all appears to be a sham, it all falls apart. Well, he's finally come to a spot where he sees through the masquerade. He sees through the charade. And he's right there in the middle of a talk, another one of these power talks to corporate folks who are revering him, right? He's going to be the font of wisdom here and show them the road to success. And he just can't do it anymore. All the ego defenses break down, all the masks break down, and he just stops, he looks at these people, and he walks out. He just can't do it anymore, can't hold it anymore. It all falls apart. And he's utterly dispirited. He has no sense of even who he is. And he's had some experiences. He took some risks. He plugged in with his family. He actually thought he was starting a relationship. Turns out the lady was married and she was just a player on the road. And so he had some, shall we say, disappointments. Of course, he appointed himself that some things were going to work out too. And that was his mind again. So when all is said and done, he came back to a place of that gnawing, palpable emptiness that he could no longer deny. He could no longer shuck aside. And he had to literally inhabit and face. And we have no idea what happens out of that, but only something that could be real would come out of that. And all the rest of it was just a big fake. And he was able to see it. So but when you're able to see through the fakery, see through all the masks, that's a really powerful opening. Because then something real can occur, something true can occur. And so actually I see it as a, I wouldn't say hopeful film, but certainly his journey actually led somewhere. That now he has the possibility to have something real occur in his life. So it's actually an uplifting message, and maybe Clooney can stop playing himself and actually get a life himself and invest in a committed way in a relationship and all the rest that he's done very well steering clear. To cut to the chase. So coming back to Ryan Bingham's what's in your backpack? In these three realms, what's in your backpack? In the illusory realm, well, everything, of course. All those things, all your relationships. You can't stuff enough stuff in it, and we'll still stuff a little more, right? That's what goes into it. On and on and on. And you're chasing thoughts and these false identities and conceptualizations coming out of your ears. And that's the illusory realm. And that's how, in fact, this backpack isn't big enough. The world isn't big enough. In the empirical realm, no different than the illusory realm. Again, all that stuff gets stuffed in the backpack again. The only difference here is to the degree you actually become present, the degree to which you're able to stand outside your mind, looking at your mind, that witnessing consciousness, you start to have that opening, that springboard, that awakening, that this can't be real. And what do I need this for? It's not even who I am. And it just becomes more of a hindrance. And you lose interest. That's really a serious thing. Well, it's actually a very light thing. But you lose interest in the game, in the persona, in that whole gig. And now this is a springboard actually to awakening, to what is real, to who you truly are. And that's really beautiful. And in the absolute realm, what's left in the backpack? Well, clearly nothing that's personal or individual. You pause, you watch, and you see, and you find the answer is, of course, that there is no answer. None of these are conceptualizations. It's nothing, and of course, everything. It's a very rich fullness, a very empty richness, very empty fullness, a very full emptiness, however you want to say it. It's neither and both. Isn't that perplexing and paradoxical? Actually, there is no backpack. Strangely enough, this thing is an illusion, even though it shows up in the material world, right? Or anything else to carry. There's nothing to do other than watch, see, and listen, and enjoy the flow of life energy and what direction this molecule of divinity you are kind of leads you in, that directs you to, that guides you. And if you're really courageous and you have incredible persistence and you clear enough crap out of the way, you may just find yourself kind of moving in certain directions in life. You don't even know how you ended up there, but you knew that wasn't it, and this looks a lot more inviting, and so you're here now, and we'll see what comes of this, right? And you have the opportunity, of course, to not only see that, realize that, actualize that, but even more valuably, embody it, be it.